This is the summary of National Finance Unit 5, Financing Methods. There are 4 types of loan repayment plans. In a straight-term loan, the borrower must be prepared to pay the entire principal at the end of the time period. A balloon loan has interest and principal paid on an equal basis until the final payment, which is larger. A balloon is the remaining balance that is due at the maturity of a note or obligation. In fully amortized loans, allow liquidation of a debt with regular payments of principal and interest are made. The entire loan is paid off by the end of the term. With a budget mortgage, the payment is composed of principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. These are the 16 methods of financing, including specialty loan alternatives. Adjustable rate loans have interest rates that fluctuate and are usually tied to an index. Increases are capped for each period and for the term of the loan. An adjustable rate mortgage, ARM, contains an escalator clause that allows the interest to adjust over the loan term. An ARM is tied to an index, and the rate of the loan goes up or down, depending on the caps, margin, and adjustment period. A graduated payment plan has lower payments first year than payments increase. In reverse annuity mortgages, homeowners receive monthly payments based on accumulated equity rather than a lump sum. The loan must be repaid upon the death of the owner or sale of the property. Part purchase money is a mortgage given as part of the buyer's consideration for the purchase of real property. It is delivered at the same time that the real property is transferred. A package mortgage always includes personal and real property. The loan covers real estate, plus fixtures and appliances. In a blanket mortgage, the loan covers several pieces of land. These loans may contain a partial release clause in which the mortgagee and/or beneficiary agrees to release certain parcels from the lien of the blanket mortgage and/or deed of trust upon payment by the mortgagor and/or trustor of a certain sum of money. With an open-end mortgage and/or deed of trust, the mortgagor and/or trustor is allowed to reborrow against principal that has already been paid so far. A lender is allowed to increase the outstanding balance of a loan up to the original amount of the loan. A wraparound loan includes additional financing from a second lender. This allows the buyer one payment for 2 loans. The new lender pays the first loan but charges higher interest for a second. The original loan must be assumable with no alienation clause. In a buy-down, the payment is subsidized at the beginning by a builder or other party for a 3 to 5 year period. After the period, the purchaser takes over and pays the regular payment amount. 2 types of construction loans exist. In the first, the lender commits the full amount of the loan to the borrower, but makes partial progress payments as the building is being completed after lien waivers have been obtained. In the second type, high interest rate is charged to builders, usually 1% over prime rate, to be used for spec homes. A takeout loan replaces a construction loan on large construction projects. They are long-term, permanent financing, usually for commercial projects. Sale-leaseback. Owner sells his or her improved property and at the same time signs a long-term lease. Participation mortgage. A mortgage in which the lender participates in the income of the mortgaged property beyond a fixed return, or receives a yield on the loan in addition to the straight interest rate. Bridge loan, short-term interim loan for the buyer, usually 6 months to 1 year in duration. Grant program or down payment assistance, a program that provides buyers with a gift of money to use towards their down payment or closing costs, which never has to be paid back. Contract for deed. The buyer does not receive legal title until the final payment is made. Seller keeps legal title until the debt is paid in full. Buyer receives equitable title until debt is paid in full. Vendor. The seller of realty. The seller under contract for deed. Vendee. The purchaser of realty. The buyer under a contract for deed. Loan assumption. The act of acquiring title to property that has an existing mortgage and agreeing to be personally liable for the terms and conditions of the mortgage, including the payments. Subject to mortgage. A grantee, the buyer, taking title to a real property subject to a mortgage is not personally liable to the lender, the mortgagee, for the payment of the mortgage note.